Hey, retroerick97 here, coming with the video I promised. Now here is the necklace that I showed in my short. Now, if people don't know what these crests are, well, this one is the Cullen crest from Twilight, and this is the wolf pack symbol. Now, when I have it on my neck, I always have it on the Cullen crest because I am Team Edward. Now, I like the difference between Edward, Team Jacob. I respect everyone's opinion. To me, it's Team Edward all the way, and I'm going to be doing reviews of the books, and I'll tell you why I'm Team Edward besides over Team Jacob, and there is a big reason why I am. But let's get started. Here is the first Twilight book, the first of many Twilight books that I have. Right there. Now, this comes from the original box set where it's just the first four movies with the movie poster card things. I don't have those in this set, and my box is kind of damaged. So when I do the last book breaking down, I'll show you that. I want to get every single box set of Twilight and all the different covers, different variations, but not from different countries. I just want the US ones. So the Twilight book starts out with a girl named Isabella Swan, who we call Bella, and she's moving from Arizona to Forks because she wants to live with her dad. Her mom just got remarried to a guy named Phil, and she wants to give her mom some time to travel with Phil because he plays minor league baseball, and she wants him to do that. So she goes live with her dad, Chief Swan, in Forks, and he's the chief of police, and he buys her a truck from his friend Billy Black, who is the father of Jacob. So he's in the first movie, and he's got long hair, which is cool. And Bella meets some friends at Forks High School. She meets a guy named Eric. She's got a friend named Jessica, a kid named Mike there. Mike likes her. So does Eric. And then Tyler, we'll mention Tyler in a few. And a girl named Jessica, another girl named Jessica. And there's so much people to remember that it's kind of hard. So the main people that I'm going to focus on are Bella, the Cullens, and I'll mention Tyler. So Bella shows up. She's at lunch with the new kids on her first day, and she noticed the Cullens, and she asks about them, and they tell her, "Well, that's the Cullens, and they're all adopted. Dr. Cullen adopted all of them, and they're together, like together." So that's where you see Emmett, Jasper, Alice, and Rosalie. Those four. Well, then she notices Edward Cullen, and she asks, "Who's that?" And then Jessica goes, "That's Edward Cullen." And she tells her, "Don't waste your time. He doesn't like none of the girls in the school anyway or in the town." She went, "Don't worry, I'm not going to." So they they're going to class and things, and she goes to her biology class. And who does she happen to sit by? Edward Cullen. Well, he looks like very uncomfortable with her next to him. So he's like fidgety, he's freaking out a little, and he normally don't act that way. So Mike thought she stabbed him with a pencil, and that's funny. So she didn't, and then she went into the office at the end of the day to turn in her slip, and Edward's in there, and he like turns around, sees her, and he gets mad because he's trying to leave biology. Later in the book, we find out why. So why he was trying to leave biology is because her scent. He likes it. He wants to kill her, essentially. At first, he does. And then Bella doesn't understand why he's acting so weird. So she's like, "Well, it couldn't be me." So she moved on from it. And Edward comes back, he leaves for a while, comes back, and he starts talking to her. Well, his eyes are different, and she's noticing different things with Edward. So they start talking together, and one day when they're in the parking lot, it's a snowy day, Tyler nearly runs over Bella and hits her. And Edward stops the van with his hand, and he catches Bella, and he says, I promise I'll tell you everything later. Just say that I was next to you, which he doesn't. He's trying to protect her, so he, doesn't hurt her, and he just wants to protect her, and it's a big job for him. So Bella and the rest of the school kids, they go down to La Push. Well, Edward wasn't invited, but Bella did ask him if he wanted to go, and he asked where, and he said he was busy. And she finds out at La Push from Sam Euclid, he's a Quilliad, that the Cullens don't come there. So she's wondering why. So Jacob tells her the story of the Quilliads, that they descend from werewolves. And the Cullens come from the cold ones, which in our human thing is vampires. So she has a theory about that, and she's gonna tell Edward her theory. Well, she goes to Port Angeles with Jessica and another girl to pick out dresses for a dance. Bella's not going to the dance, she doesn't want to. And Tyler's telling everyone they're going to prom because he almost hit her, which is gets too funny at the end of the story when he's talking about prom. So she goes off to a bookstore because she don't like dress shopping, and Edward followed her, sent up there, and he's trying to figure out where she is because she left the store and she went to the bookstore, but she didn't go in the bookstore. And these four guys start following her, and they want to do some horrible things to her. We don't find out what horrible things in their mind what they want to do to her, but we can assume that it's bad, because lo and behold, Edward shows up and saves her. So she gets saved by Edward, and he's like, distract me before I go over there and rip their throats out. Like, he wants to kill them. So she's trying her best, which doesn't do very good. And then they go to dinner, and Edward tells Jessica that he would like Bella to have dinner to eat with him, and Bella says it's okay, they could go. And he's talking to Bella at the restaurant, and the waitresses are only interested in Edward. They're not paying attention to her. And she goes, how did you know where I was? And he said, well, I followed your scent. I could read minds. So he can read minds. That's his gift. And then she talks about how her theory is that he's a vampire. And he said, does it scare you? And she went, no, I don't care. So you start seeing the inkling that she doesn't care, and they're going to be a couple together. And it's great because they go to his meadow, and he shows her why he can't walk out in the sun, because he sparkles, which I think is so cool of Stephanie Meyer to have him sparkling like that. So, and then he tries to kiss her, and he does. And she's a little wobbly after that, and after him running so fast with her on his back that they zoom through the trees and they get to her truck. He drives her home. He starts coming in he admits that he comes in her room at night to watch her sleep, and that she sometimes says his name, which he admits it's a lot of times she says his name, which I think it's cool, that they had that in the story. A lot of people didn't like that of Edward, but I did because it shows a little dynamic between he's so interested, but he can't read her mind, so he wants to see what she's thinking by other alternatives of seeing what she's thinking. And she starts hanging around the Cullens a lot more. She meets Alice, which is one of my favorite Cullens. She meets Carlisle because of the accident she had with Tyler's van. And also she there's a scary scene in it where she's at the baseball field and these three vampires are there, and these aren't like the Cullens, these are evil ones. These are ones that will eat people. And the first one is named Laurent, second one's James, and Victoria. Well, James and Victoria, they're mates, which you do find that out. And they show up at the baseball field when the Cullens are playing baseball. And it's so crazy. But James smells her, and he's a tracker, and he wants to track Bella down. So he starts the hunt, and Bella has to break her father's heart and leaves the house at night with Edward and all the Cullens. She leaves with them. Alice and Jasper take her out of town. They go to Phoenix, Arizona, where her mom lives, and she gets a call, and it's James saying, "You better get away from your friends or else your mom's gonna get it." And he plays a tape of her mom yelling, "Bella, Bella, Bella," and he stops it. Well, when they draw the sketch, because Alice could see the future, and she sees a room, and Bella says, "That looks like my old ballet studio." And that's where it takes place, the fight. And James bites her during the altercation with him because she goes alone, and Edward beats him up. And all the Cullens show up there, and Alice rips off James' head. They burn him, which Carlisle didn't like the idea of killing another species of theirs, but he knew they had to. And they kill him. Edward sucks the venom out of Bella. They make up a story that Bella fell out a window. And then Edward and Bella go to prom. So here's some funny things in this book that I didn't talk about yet. So in one scene, Bella says, "Well, what about if you were dared to eat food?" This is after he found out he's a vampire. He eats a piece of pizza and it burns going down. It's funny. So she eats the pizza after that. And another funny thing is Tyler calls up and see if Bella's going to prom with him or not. And Edward takes the phone and he says, "Oh, hi, Tyler. Yeah, there must have been some kind of misunderstanding. I'm taking Bella to prom." And then he goes, "Oh, yeah, and by the way, she's busy every night this week with me." So that's when you find out Bella and Edward are together. It's so magical. Jacob does try to tell Bella to stay away from Edward from Billy Black, but you know, Bella don't listen. And it's so magical. I'm glad she doesn't because, Edward all the way. I like his look. And I'd love to read the back of this. There it says, "About three things I was absolutely positive. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him, and I didn't know how dominant that part might be, that thirst for my blood. And third, I was unconditionally and irreversibly in love with him." So she's in love with Edward, and I love this. So this is just a good book. I've started it last night, and I've read these series like 5 times already, or 20 times, something like that. I'm already at page 300. Okay, I'm gonna do a book review of all these books because I remember all of them. The next one is going to be New Moon. And let me tell you something, I'm not ready for New Moon because you'll find out in that review. That's very emotional for me. Um, I'm going to do the review of the first Twilight movie too. So after I read the book, I watch the movie, I'll do a review of the movie and tell you what I think. Because the movie is different from the book. There's a lot of the same things. They just left out some parts, like the part where he eats the pizza. And I would have loved to seen the part where he was talking to Tyler on the phone, but they didn't have that in the movie. And there's other Twilight stuff I have. So this is the first of many videos of Twilight. So if you love Twilight, please like, comment, and subscribe. Even if you're Team Jacob, I will like your comments. I will write you back. I respect all you guys, Team Edward, Team Jacob. I'm Team Twilight, but I'm Team Edward because I just love how the story goes, and I love the books, and I just want to say happy 20th anniversary to Twilight. I hope it continues. I'm waiting for the new books to come out. Hopefully they come out real soon because I would love to read the new Twilight books. The new show will be coming out on Netflix. It's going to be an animated show of Twilight. Can't wait for that. There's a lot of characters I'd like to see in that. And this has been retroerick97 saying, please like, comment, subscribe. Happy 20th anniversary to Twilight. And also, happy birthday, Renesmee I.